After a whirlwind of political spectacle, relentless campaigning, the takeoff for legislative duties has started. All eyes are now on the 10th National Assembly to discharge rightly. Just yesterday, the House of Representatives stepped down a motion seeking to convene a national summit on youth emigration abroad. The motion, which seeks a declaration of a state of emergency on the factors that encourage young Nigerians to want to leave Nigeria for other countries, was jettisoned. Meanwhile, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Abbas, has urged the 10th National Assembly to tackle the problems facing the country. In a statement he issued on Wednesday, Abbas urged citizens to pressurize the federal lawmakers to address numerous lingering issues, which include insecurity, mass unemployment, and the high cost of living. More so, many citizens are of the opinion that the cost of governance in Nigeria is too expensive. Will the 10th House of Representatives ensure that the cost is reduced? Joining us now on the morning show is Onuakalusi of the Labour Party. He's a lawyer and member representing Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2 of Lagos State at the National Assembly. Honorable Onuakalusi, thank you very much for joining us on the morning show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Nigerians.
Well, two quick things. I was surprised that the opposition parties in the House of Representatives voted for Tajuddin Abbas of the APC. It looks like despite the opposition, there was a meeting of minds that Tajuddin Abbas should be the person. You yourself voted for him. Why? And secondly, you are representing Oshodi Solo constituency in the House of Representatives in Abuja. You must have seen the video of the Speaker of the State House of Assembly saying in his acceptance speech that the Lagos State House of Assembly will make laws to please indigents and to reverse whatever is reversible that non-indigents in Lagos may be enjoying. Those two things to start off.
Okay, thank you, Arise Television, and good morning, Nigerians. First of all, I must say that the choice of Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas is a holistic and comprehensive consultation predicated on his firm promise that the independence of the legislature cannot be eroded. Based on that, that's why we collectively voted for him on that firm promise that we hold him accountable to his promises. Secondly, Nigerians is in need of legislative output that will promote the welfare of Nigerians. And that's the major occupation of the 10th Assembly. Therefore, we decided after comprehensive consultation and a promise, as well as understanding that he's going to be firm, that he's not going to compromise our stance in issues that has to do with the legislature, we decided to vote for him and give him that benefit of doubt. And I am sure that he's going to keep to his promise. But however, the opposition shall be vigilant. We shall be vigilant to ensure that the independence of the legislature will nowhere eroded. We shall be all vigilant in all form to ensure that we keep to his promises and we'll be able to provide laws that will be better for Nigeria. The important thing is the welfare of Nigeria. That is the preoccupation. That is our major stake. The welfare and interests of Nigeria, especially now that there's a total hardship in the country. You must understand, because I know few of my constituents came to Lagos and we are lamenting. Therefore, whatever we do as legislators to ensure that the welfare of Nigeria and interests of Nigeria is promoted, we'll do it. So when Right Honorable Abbas came forth and began to marshal out his positions, the independence is mission to ensure that Nigeria said, we said, let us work with him and ensure that it is. And that's why I personally voted after consultation with our constituency. That is the right candidate. We decided to vote for him and ensure that the independence and welfare of Nigeria, which is paramount, will not be compromised in the course of it. Secondly, on the issue you raised concerning the legislature or the pronouncements or the policy direction by the Speaker of Lagos State, you must understand that the Constitution defined parameters of relationship in the country. The right to own properties is a constitutional matter. Therefore, no legislator, no state legislation can erode it. And any law that is inconsistent with the 1999 Constitution, any state law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is null and void. That's section 1 sub 3. Therefore, that pronouncement cannot stand because in all right to have their part of Nigeria, their legislation will constitutional provision. Therefore, I see that as maybe perhaps an aggrandizement or showmanship, but I know it will not stand the test of time because we have a constitution that is the fulcrum of the Nigerian nation, and no state can make any law that will compromise it. That statement cannot be acceptable. And in event, if they go contrary to the constitution of the other, it will be challenged legitimately in the court of law. So I told my people when my attention was called, they should not lose sleep over it. Waiting come up with the law, we know the right thing to do. This is not the time for widow shadow legislation. This is a time to face realities because Nigeria is in deep trouble. We don't have people things that will distract us now.
All right, Honorable Onuakalusi, congratulations on your inauguration. Campaign season is over. It's now time to hit the ground running. I want to remind you of some of the things you promised your constituents that you are going to, Onuakalusi, that you're going to do once you win. One of which is that you said you're going to turn Oshodi Solo into a commercial hub. And one of the ways you said you would do this, being people-centered, is to hold your town hall meetings. That you're going to have this regularly, and that the people that you represent would be key to determining how you function in the house. You also talked about improving the entertainment value of the area that you represent because it's seen as a potential. The first thing I want to ask you is, when is your first town hall meeting going to happen? How frequently will this happen? And how would you use it in terms of adjusting or informing your choices, decisions, and the way you represent your people in the house?
I must tell you that I was overwhelmed by my constituent visits in our inauguration. I had decided to discourage it because of the economic situation, but I did find out that more than 60 people flew into Lagos, into Abuja, to participate in my inauguration. And thereafter, we had 2 successful meetings. 2 nights ago, and we agreed, and I gave them the template in line with my campaign promises. And we already tried to structure it based on that 5 departments I raised. And very soon, we are going to inaugurate that thing on or before 30th of June at the constituency office. And we have been able to bring people who have understanding of my area of competence, area of interest. And we agreed that we are going to hit the ground with the inauguration on or before 30th of June. 30th of June. Now that we're in resection, I'm going back to Lagos on next week to be part of the constitution and then be able to completely have a total number and different departments, we have said, and we inaugurate them. That's why we start. I know on or before August, we are going to have our first time meeting. But let's set different departments on work so that they will be able to aggregate those ideas and put it in place so that when we meet, it becomes a seamless and thought-provoking issues that we are going to raise. So we have started, the committees already raised, but we are going to make a final pronouncement on or before 30th at the constituency office, whereby we'll be able to give each department their roles and who we head each person and their various and templates to work with. That's the way we can achieve it. And I must say that even as I promised, the team that is working on our magazines and talent hub, entertainment are already working. By the time we inaugurate the various committees in this department, they will hit the ground running. So don't lose sleep. Come over by July, you will see us doing one thing or the other in our constituents.
Okay. Mr. Onuakalusi, we know you very well, for being an advocate for social justice with your Millennium Center for Training and Leadership. I'd like to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Would you be ready to take a pay cut in your salary as a lawmaker in the interest of Nigerians? Would you also be ready to show the world how much you earn as a lawmaker? Because you came in on the wave of the Labour Party, which was a way for a new Nigeria that all of you claimed. So are you ready to take a pay cut on your salary? Are you also ready to declare how much you get in salaries? Are you also ready to be open to personal scrutiny on your constituency projects and how much you spend on them?
Yes, I must say that just rightly pointed out, I believe that I belong to a school of thought that believe we in places of leadership should cut our coat according to the cloth. We should be able to live by example, not by precept. So I must say that I am committed to all my philosophy that have advanced over these years. So I'll be available for discussion and making open things that concerns me personally, especially when it comes to issue of enrollment. And equally,
Hello?
Mr. Joe Onuakalusi. Okay. I mean, I deliberately do ask these questions
Important
because
question.
we will have to see, and we had seen a lot of the work he had done in like civil advocacy also. We'll have to see his financial state before he gets into office and after office. You know, because we can't build a country if we have a country where people just go to political office to amass wealth. And that's why I asked those pertinent questions. We'll have to see how richer has he become, and how much he's been able to use that money for bettering the lives of the people in Oshodi. And it's a deliberate question. I don't know if we'll have him back, because he just said yes.
That's why you have the Code of Conduct Bureau.
Yeah.
Under the Code of Conduct Bureau Act, persons who go into public positions are required to declare their assets as they arrive, and also to declare their assets as they leave.
As they leave,
so that's the big issue there. That's what the system has created to address that particular challenge. Because the whole idea is on service, about service. You are not supposed to go into government public positions
to amass wealth.
To amass wealth.
Yeah. I mean, if we have Mr. Onuakalusi, if he's... We don't have him here. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll sort out any things we have around it. We'll come back and we'll talk so much.
All right, I just wanted to highlight something very quickly, because I want to go back to the statement made by, I believe it was Mr. Chief Ogunlewe, when he came on the show and talked about the cost of politics, and that politics is not for a poor man. And remember, the question that was asked was, because what you have said is that it's about service, it's not to amass wealth or to enrich yourself. But if you spend so much money attaining a position, how do you then recoup? How do we balance that out in terms of...
Let me ask those questions. Mr. Onuakalusi, if you're there, in the sake of public integrity too, we'd like to know, have you submitted your code of conduct form? Can you also tell us, in the interest of public accountability, what was expended by you, a rough estimate during the election, so that it's not be a case that you go there to recoup your money back on behalf of the Oshodi people? And can you also, be clear as regards what is your, financial outlook? Because we need to be very, very accountable to ourselves. And politicians don't do that a lot in this country. Can you talk me through all of that, please?
Okay, first of all, I must say that before you are inaugurated, you must submit to the Code of Conduct your assets and everything. I did that, so it's in the public. You can apply for it and get what I spent. Now, on issue of political expenses, I must say that I have been running elections since 2011, and 2023, we came under the wave of a new Nigeria. And I know many of my friends contributed in one way or the other to ensure that they're here. And I gave them a framework. Your contribution does not predicate on what you're going to get from me, because I'm not going to go outside my purview as a legislator to refund you. None. To refund you whatever. So it is a clear understanding I did at the beginning of it. And I must say that my asset declaration is with the Code of Conduct. You can access it. And it is after 4 years you can come back and be able to situate it from what I declared and what is presently. So it is there in the public domain. But what I want to assure Nigerians, as long as I'm concerned, I am going to do my best to keep to my tenets, which I've been propagating since I started as an activist. So the document will be there for you to view. So I cannot assess myself, but to assess me after maybe 2 or 3 years and be able to ascertain whether I've kept to that promise. So on the issue of welfare of the people, even I'm discussing with someone, is there any way we can reduce our earning to be able to make it a law, bring a bill to reduce our learning so that it will be in compartment in consonant with what the general Nigerians receive? Because if you're able to do it, we'll be able to put our sex and live according to our income. I believe strongly that we should live according to our income in all forms, in all manners. So that is my philosophy, and I want to drive to it, and I believe in God to help me, keep reminding me of the firm promise I made that I will be able to live it out at the end of my tenure. So I allow you to do the assessment after 4 years and come back and say, this is what I declare, this is what I have. With that, you'll be able to judge me. I don't want to prejudge my position, but I believe that you equally reminding me in the course of time that this is the promise, and I want to live to it throughout my participation in the legislature all my life. So that is one. And the promises I make to my constituency, I'll do my best to ensure that they come into play with the present economic realities, and equally push that government should live according to, cut your coat according to the cloth. We should not live outside their confines and be able to reduce poverty in all forms in Nigeria. Because if you are rich in the midst of 200, you are an endangered species. Because where others say, like during the NSAS, I must say during the NSAS where we live, after a few days, those boys that are moving around are now pointing to us, so they are going to come back to you. Because if you have 2 cars in Nigeria, if that NSAS has continued, you're a victim. Because they come for you. So the only way we can solve this problem is to create an enabling environment where a welfare of Nigerians should be taken care of. And that's what we are pushing for. It is one of the things when I have a conversation with the speaker, I said, do you know that at the end of the day, we are going back to a constituency? Are you promising that you are going to do your best to ensure the independence of the legislature and ensure that the welfare, all the bills being sent to the government are geared towards the welfare of Nigeria? And he gave me that firm promise, that's why the reason I voted for him. And I'll stand vigilant to call his attention to the promise he made me personally on independence of the legislature in the course of this journey. So I promise to do my best to ensure that Nigeria interests are promoted.
Honorable Onuakalusi, well, we've heard you very well.
Yes, sir.
My first question, you said, the House took a holistic approach. There are some Nigerians who are saying money exchange hands, and all of you voted en masse for Tajuddin Abbas because you've been motivated. But that's not my question. Let's talk about your own legislative agenda. You are representing Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2. And you've promised the people representation, lawmaking, and all of that. And you said, you will turn Oshodi Solo into a commercial hub. Well, Oshodi Solo is already a commercial hub. I think that's obvious enough. But how do you plan to engage with the government back home, the government of Lagos State, considering all the political differences, ethnic, religious divisions within Lagos? Are you reaching out to the Lagos State House of Assembly? Are you in touch with the governor? And how do you intend to really serve the people of your constituency? That's a big challenge you face.
Yes, I agree with you completely, but I know that we are no longer in partisan politics. All we need is governance, and government has to work. People, even though we are coming from under different political settings, but the important thing is that what constituency infrastructure development do you bring to your constituents? That is a major thing. So, after the inauguration, we have the discussion with the governor of Lagos State, and I made it clear with them, all the legislators from Lagos, and I made it clear that we are willing for strategic partners that will promote Lagos, even though we are coming from different political platforms. So whatever program that you want us to push in Abuja, that will be for the common interests of Lagosians, I am available to do it, and we in Labour are available to do it. That does not we are not going to compromise our position as Labour Party legislators. That is one. Secondly, I have marked our roads, because if you go to my constituency in Oshodi Solo, you find that in December last year, we commissioned about 8 roads built by individual. So most of the roads built in our quarter axis were individually built. So I'm going to take up those roads with the government, especially those that fall under category B of the roads, and to the state government and say, these are the roads you need to attend. If you go to Greenfield Estate, all the roads built in Greenfield Estate were built by the landlords. All the roads built at the Canal Estate were built by the landlords. At the back of Century Hotel, all the roads there are built by us. So now the question I want to raise, and I made mention that we are coming up, we are going to list out the roads that we need, because all we need is roads and drainage. I'm going to list it and then I'll forward it formally to the state government and say, this is what my constituent needs. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to say I want to approach him for infrastructure development because he belongs to a different department. No, it is issue of governance, and the only way I can have access is what I bring to my constituents. And that's why I laid this foundation, and I'm making it abundantly clear. I mentioned roads that were developed by us individually. Collectively, we raised funds to build this road in Ago, Canal Estate, in Greenfield, at the back of Century. These are more 10 roads we commissioned in December time. So now that God has brought me this way, I'm going to take up these areas. Now, issue of drainage that we're having problem, I'm going to raise it and write a formal memo in request for this that we'll be able to attend to. Base it. Then if it's the one that falls under the federal government, I'm going to take it up with FEMA and the other agencies to ensure that we bring different. Now, on issue on improving on a commercial hub, yes, there are existing industry there, but some of them are moribund. My major interest is to attract foreigners who will partner with our locals to develop our infrastructure and make it work better. I'm interested in entertainment, and I'm going to do entertainment, footballing, athletics. We are going to work on it. It is in part of my manifestos. And that's why I set up 5 different departments to work with me to ensure that we deliver on this. So it's a holistic work and it's a task work. I must say that since I came in, since the inauguration, I have never had more than 2 hours sleep. In that, because I look forward, I see a lot of work that need to be done. So my best one is to get a capable hand to work with it to ensure that we deliver on this.
Honorable, how much exchange hands? Because we had a senator here, who knows these matters, who said nothing moves in the National Assembly except money exchanges hands. How much did they distribute for 353 persons to vote for TJ Abbas? Between us, entrepreneur.
Dr. Ruben, I know that you have worked at I know that you have worked at the presidency, and you can tell better than I do for now for that. But what I know, I voted for Abbas based on personal conviction. That's why I voted for him.
It's okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Okejo Onuakalusi, representing Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2 of Lagos State.